Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to just be doing a really chill video because the last video I just did took a ton of time. It was very emotionally draining just because the book was so bad. The previous video that I did was the Midnight is the Darkest Hour or whatever video. If you haven't seen it, I do a whole breakdown of it. It's kind of like a parody of the book breakdown and it just took a lot of time. So I figured we would do something a little more chill for this video. So I was like, why not? Let's just do a recommendation video. I've been watching a lot of TV and movies lately. That's kind of what's been breaking into my reading time is I mean, I've been watching a lot of TV, a lot of TV. My obsession right now that I just finished is the show on, it was originally on Paramount Plus, but I guess Netflix was showing it, but it's called School Spirit, and I'm literally obsessed with it. I finished the only season that's out right now, but it's been renewed for a second season, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I actually bullied my best friend into watching it, so she's actually watching it right now. But anyway, I thought it would be fun to do if you liked the movie or TV show, you should read this book or these couple of books. Again, this is my opinion, what I think that they are like. A lot of people are going to be like, oh, that's nothing like that. That's kind of just how these are. This is my best guess as to what these movies and TV shows are the most like. This is one that I feel like pretty much everyone has read at this point, but if you have not, if you enjoyed The Princess Bride, which is a really fun movie, it is so much fun. I know it was also originally a book as well. I have not read the book, so I cannot comment about the book, but I do really like the movie. I think if you like The Princess Bride, you would really like Tress of the Emerald Sea. I personally am iffy on Tress of the Emerald Sea. I wanted a little more action like what was in The Princess Bride, but if you're looking for a cute romance and adventure kind of story, and instead of a more male protagonist, you have a female protagonist, you're gonna love Tress of the Emerald Sea. Tress of the Emerald Sea, we're following Tress, who basically has to go on this mission across these seas to save the love of her life, and it's just a really fun time. Again, not my favorite book, but I know a lot of people liked it and my husband liked it and he likes Princess Bride, and so I think there's some connection there. I'm starting off with the more obvious choices, but I actually picked a lot of books that I think a lot of people haven't heard of or they haven't at least read yet. They're just waiting for a sign to read it. So the next one is a very obvious one. If you enjoyed Twilight, but you want to make it adult, you're in our era, we're all adults now, the Twilight kids are adults now, definitely a Discovery of Witches. I mean, Discovery of Witches has that adult feel to it, better writing, better pretty much everything, but you still have that strange addictive feel from Twilight because the romance is very Twilight romance and it's really cute. It actually is really cute, but there's a lot of magic in it. There's a really cool magic system. The characters are much more developed and it's just so good. And I have watched the TV show of A Discovery of Witches and I actually think it's pretty good. I thought it was pretty spot on. My friend disagrees with me, but I would definitely recommend reading the books. I think they're really good. And they are following our main characters, Diana and Matthew, and I don't want to get too much into it because I feel like everything about this series is spoilers, but you have multiple different kinds of magical beings working together or against each other relating to something in the world that I really can't talk about. But it's a witch vampire romance. Another book recommendation that I think was pretty popular this year, but I think we're getting into where more people have heard about it but may not have read it. We have, if you liked Only Murders in the Building, it's just the fun quirkiness of it. I think you would definitely like Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. It is very similar in vibe where you have a murder scene that no one really understands what's going on with it. You have the locals trying to figure out what's happened, and you almost get this found family type of feel from it, and the comedy in it is very similar. It's kind of like a cheesy, cute comedy type of humor, and it's just a fun time. So I definitely think those two, if you liked Only Murders in the Building, you would definitely like Vera Wong's. Okay, this next one is kind of funny the way that I phrased it. If you like the Heartstopper TV show, and I mean the books too, but if you like the TV show, then I definitely think if you haven't read it yet, I feel like, again, this is very popular books, but Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda or Imogen, obviously, both of those two books would be a really good choice if you enjoyed Heartstopper. Both of those books gave me the same warm, fuzzy feeling vibes while also dealing with some like teen drama that isn't outlandish or crazy. Like, it's very normal drama that you would actually expect to happen in a teenager's life. So if you really enjoyed Heartstopper, I definitely would say at least read Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda. I absolutely love that book. That is one of my favorite books of all times. It is just fun and cute, and I love Simon, but Imogen obviously is also a really, really good choice, and both of them are by Becky Albuquerque. So if you are a Brothers Grimm fan, like, I know that I'm stretching this one because I'm specifically saying technically it's the books and not the books but the short stories, but there's a movie. I actually really like that movie. It kind of traumatized me as a kid, but I actually really, really like that movie. So if you liked the Brothers Grimm movie or anything Brothers Grimm, I definitely would say either read The Salt Grows Heavy if you want a more pretentious side of Brothers Grimm, but it is a novella, so you're getting a small dose. Or if you want something young adult, more Brothers Grimm, and still really Brothers Grimm, really, oh man, this leans into it. House of Salt and Sorrow, I feel like a lot of people have read that by now. I'm still waiting to read House of Roots and Ruin, but House of Salt and Sorrow, who the Brothers Grimm's vibe there are so good. They're so good. I don't even know if I could tell you what this is about without spoiling it, but it's got like seaside gothic vibes with death and curses and just like twists and turns, and it's so good. While The Salt Grows Heavy is definitely more of like a kind of pretentious lyrical adult retelling of a fairy tale, and it broke my heart. It was so good. I absolutely loved it. So if you want something more mainstream normal, I would definitely go with House of Salt and Sorrow if you haven't read it yet. And if you want something that's going to probably challenge you a little bit more and be a little more off the beaten path, I would definitely go with The Salt Grows Heavy. If you loved Gilmore Girls, if you had a great time with Gilmore Girls, at least the first couple seasons, not the back half. If you liked the first couple seasons of Gilmore Girls and you want those small town vibes, you want those like little cute romance vibes, I would definitely, number one, probably just watch the Hallmark Channel. But if you want a book, I would definitely either go the Hotel Nantucket, which is one of my favorite books from 2022. I absolutely loved it, and it definitely makes me want to read more Elin Hilderbrand books, and it's following a woman who is going to be a manager at a new hotel, and it's just the drama of the little town, the drama that's taking place in the actual hotel, and it's so cute. If you want something a bit more cozy, because they're both cozy choices, The Book Charmer is actually a book that really surprised me. It was something my mom read and she was like, oh, you might like this. And it's just a warm hug in a book. I have recommended this one multiple times in multiple different videos, and this one's just cute. It is full small town vibes, small town drama. There's magical books and libraries, and it is following like a family with multiple different sisters, so there's multiple books in the series, and it's so cute, and it's just, I love that book. I gotta have this one on here. If you liked Gossip Girl or reality TV that's more on the drama side, definitely check out Magnolia Parks. If you want your fix of just drama, and especially Gossip Girl, if you want the unlikable characters who are getting themselves into terrible situations, yeah, Magnolia Parks is for you. It's following Magnolia Parks, who is the it girl, and she has an ex-boyfriend that neither of them can let each other go, and they are constantly hurting each other, but there's like so much emotion behind it. And I don't know why I'm so obsessed with this book series, but I am. I ate this series up. I'm on book 3. I just read Daisy Hates in the beginning of January, and I'm just obsessed with the books. So I'm so excited to read the third one. And yeah, if you want that Gossip Girl feel, definitely Magnolia Parks. Okay, I think we're starting to get into ones that people may not have heard of, or if you're like deep in the book community, you've probably heard of all these, but people may not have read these. These are a little less popular. And the first one we're going to start with is if you liked The Village, or you like anything that's got the Village vibes, where middle of nowhere, kind of creepy forest vibes. So anything just like that, I would definitely read Small Favors. This is also a book by Aaron A. Craig, who wrote House of Salt and Sorrow, but this one isn't as popular. But oh my gosh, the vibes, the vibes. If you want creepy, evil forest vibes, and yeah, it is perfection. You are following this like small little village that lives in the middle of this giant forest, and you're not supposed to go into the forest because bad things happen, and just weird stuff starts happening in town, and it's almost like the evil is leaking into the town, and it's fantastic. It's definitely got that Brothers Grimm vibe as well, so this would also fit with Brothers Grimm, but I thought it was very specific to the village, not like twist. None of this is twist relevant. This is more specific vibes. The beginning of the village definitely has the same vibes as Small Favors. If you liked Hannibal, or I would say even Dexter or something along those lines, I would definitely read at least the first book in the Not Even Bones series. I personally did not like the end of the series, but the first book in the series is one of my favorite books like I've ever read. It was so good and morally gray and fantastically written, and the characters were so fun, and the plot was so different than what I'm used to. You are literally following monsters and them killing people and making profit off of it, and it is wild. It is absolutely wild. So if you are into maybe some, I wouldn't say this is like dark book, this is dark for young adult. If you like young adult and you liked Hannibal or Dexter and you want something not too dark but a little darker than usual, definitely try Not Even Bones. If you liked Euphoria, I am obsessed with the show Euphoria. I am obsessed with it. It is one of those guilty pleasure shows that is just so good. But if you loved Euphoria, I definitely would check out the book called The Knockout Queen. This is one that really took me by surprise. This is one that I haven't really heard of anyone talking about. Definitely check trigger warnings for this one. There's mentions of abuse and other things that are just very difficult to talk about, and it has drug problems in it, and it's just, oh, it is sad. It is so sad, but it's so good. And it definitely like reminds me of some of the difficulties that the characters in Euphoria go through. It's a super, super short book. It gets across a lot of heavy topics in such a short book, and it is so good, but you need to know what you're going into reading that book. So think, like I said, problematic things in Euphoria, definitely there's a lot of them in The Knockout Queen. Not as like in your face as Euphoria, but they're definitely there. Another one of my favorite books from 2022, if you enjoyed The Hunger Games or any dystopian anything, definitely check out Poster Girl. This is basically once the Hunger Games was over and the rebellion has taken over the government. And that's what Poster Girl is. Poster Girl starts with the new government and all the people who were like evil in the previous regime. They're the ones who are under supervision and surveillance. And our main girl was a kid and was actually a kid of one of the bad guys. So now that she's older, she kind of is investigating what's going on and her family, and it is really emotional and it's so good, and it's adult dystopian. And basically watch all the Hunger Games or watch a dystopian series and then read Poster Girl, because it is just perfect for explaining the pitfalls of what can happen after a rebellion. Like, because no one shows like what actually happens afterwards. It's just like, oh, we're finally free kind of thing. But Poster Girl really shows corruption and what can happen, and that power is still power, and power can do things to good people, and it's so good. It is so phenomenal. The next one is for my sci-fi fans. I wasn't forgetting you guys. If you guys love Big Bang Theory or you just like video games in general, I would definitely check out Off to Be the Wizard. This is one of my favorite series. It's actually my husband's like most favorite series. They're so much fun, and they're just like funny humor, joking around. If you did not like the, what is it, Handbook's Guide to Surviving Medieval England by Brandon Sanderson, don't read this. You will not like this. It is the same, it's similar humor. You're just not going to be a fan of it. If you did like that book, you'll like this. So video games, you like that kind of funny, goofy humor, then you're definitely going to like Off to Be the Wizard. It is following our main character who figures out that the world is a computer program, and he ends up coding himself into medieval England as a wizard. But the wizard aspect of it is just him being able to code stuff into his computer. So he can do crazy magic stuff because of coding. And he meets a bunch of other people who have already figured this out. And it is so much fun. It is so much fun. I highly recommend that one if you want something fun to read. And then we have one of my absolute favorite tropes in books. I don't know why this isn't more popular. I feel like it's popular, but people never like them. If you like Don't Worry Darling or The Stepford Wives, which is both that type of almost dystopian sci-fi cloning perfect world type thing, then I have two recommendations for you. The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey, which is one of my big wins this year. I really should have just given it a 5, but I gave it a 4.5. I loved it. It was so much fun. It's very, very similar to Stepford Wives if you go a little bit darker. And then the other one I have is Comfort Me with Apples, which is definitely a very interesting combination of both of them. And they're so good. They're so good. Comfort Me with Apples is a novella where we're following a main character who kind of wakes up. She's in this perfect world. She has a husband and she starts realizing there's weird things going on around her, and she starts waking up to what's going on. And basically, Echo Wife is about cloning, and people are aware of it, but her cloning project has been used for something else that she did not approve of, and she has to figure out how to deal with it. And it's so good. It's so good. So if you love that Stepford Wives feel, because oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. And I actually just watched Don't Worry Darling, because otherwise this would have been just the Stepford Wives, but I just watched Don't Worry Darling and I actually really liked it. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I know the drama surrounding it all, but I actually really liked it. So if you like those vibes, definitely check out these two books. So those are all of my recommendations for now. I think that's a pretty good list. Hopefully there's something you find in there that you haven't read before or that seems interesting to you. Again, always check for trigger warnings on all of these. I don't want you guys to go into a book that I recommend and not know that there's some like stuff in it. But any book that I listed on here I generally liked, except for, Trust the Emerald Sea. I only recommended that one because it was so spot on to me and I know everyone else likes it. And again, it was okay. I thought it was okay. Anyway, make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet so you don't miss any future content. And make sure you leave a comment down below if you have any other recommendations that you think are similar to TV shows that you've watched, etc. I would love to hear them. Or if you think you have like recommendations for the TV shows that I brought up or books I brought up that are similar to other TV shows, I would love to hear that. So anyway, that's all I have for you today and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I will see you in the next video.